Before we begin, if you're drawn to stories that linger long after they're told, mysteries that refuse to rest, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment your thoughts below. Because tonight's story isn't just strange, it's unsettling. Friday evening, in the cold wilderness of Plumas National Forest, a man named Joseph Shones was fighting for his life. He had taken his Volkswagen up a remote mountain road, scouting a camping spot to bring his family back to the next day. But the weather had turned. Snow thickened, the road narrowed, and around 5:30 p.m., his car became stuck, miles from help. As he tried to push the vehicle free, pain tore through his chest, a heart attack, in the worst possible place, at the worst possible time. Shones crawled back inside his car, shaking, unsure if he would have survived that night. Then, headlights. 2 sets. He squinted through the darkness. He said he saw figures, a woman, a baby, several men talking. Salvation. He stumbled from his car and screamed for help. The headlights were dark. The voices stopped. Silence swallowed the mountain. Hours later, he saw flashlights in the distance. Again, he cried out. Again, nothing. Eventually, when his car ran out of gas, Shones began walking toward a lodge nearly 8 miles away. On that freezing trek, he passed an abandoned 1969 Mercury Montego. He thought little of it. He had no idea that the car belonged to 5 men who would soon become part of one of California's most haunting mysteries. February 24th, 1978. 5 friends set out for a basketball game at California State University, Chico. They were known locally as the Boys. 30-year-old Jack Amandruga, 29-year-old Bill Sterling, 24-year-old Jack Wood, 32-year-old Ted Ware, and 25-year-old Gary Matthias. They were teammates on the Gateway Tours, part of a program in Yuba City that supported men with mild intellectual disabilities. All but Gary Matthias lived with their parents. They had a game of their own the next morning. Their uniforms were laid out. They were excited. Gary Matthias was different. He didn't have an intellectual disability, but he did struggle with schizophrenia. He did once been discharged from the army. Recently, though, he'd been stable on medication, and he's doing better. And that night, spirits were high. They drove to Chico in Madruga's turquoise 1969 Mercury Montego. The game ended around 10 p.m. Their team, UC Davies, won. They celebrated the simple way: snacks from a local convenience store, cherry pie, sneakers, milk, Pepsi. It's pretty normal, ordinary, and harmless. And they got back in the car. They never made it home. Instead of heading south toward Yuba City, the Montego turned east, up Highway 70, then onto the Oroville-Quincy Road, climbing towards the mountains. Why? That question still lingers. By early morning, the car sat abandoned on a remote mountain road near Bucks Lake, more than 2 hours from where they should have been. And when the authorities found it days later, it was unlocked. A window was down, snack wrappers inside. But here's what didn't make sense. The The car wasn't badly damaged. It had a quarter tank of gas, and it wasn't deeply stuck. 5 grown men, a functioning vehicle, and yet they left it behind. Search teams combed the snowy wilderness, but winter storms forced them to stop. The mountains burned everything in white silence. For months, there were no answers. June. A group of motorcyclists rode into a remote Forest Service trailer camp near Bugs Lake. They smelled it before they saw it. Inside the main trailer under sheets was Ted Wire. He had nearly lost 80 pounds. A food covered his face. His feet were frostbitten. His shoes missing. The coroner believes he had survived there for weeks, or maybe months. And here's what chills investigators up to this day. There was food inside. Dozens of unopened military rations. Enough to last them as well. There was a working propane heating system, yet most of the supplies were untouched. Not far away, searchers found the remains of Phil Sterling and Jack Madruga. 5 miles from the trailer, Madruga still had his key in his pocket. Jack Hood's remains were undiscovered later. Gary Mathias was never found. To this day, he still remains missing. Why drive into the mountains? Some believe Gary Mathias may have suggested visiting a friend in nearby Forbes Town. Perhaps they missed a turn. Perhaps they kept driving, assuming they found a better road ahead. Others believe something darker happened. Remember Joseph Shones? His story changed slightly over time. He admitted he was extremely ill that night, possibly hallucinating. But what if he hasn't? Who were the figures he claimed to see? And why did the headlights go dark when he called out? And why, if the boys weren't nearby, why didn't they respond? Jack Madruga's mother believes someone forced them into the mountains. She insisted her son would never willingly abandon his car. There was also a strange condition of the Montego, barely damaged despite rough terrain. Was someone experienced driving those roads? Was Madruga even behind the wheel? Or was it simply a tragic chain of poor decisions? 5 men lost that night, slow plows having recently cleared parts of the road, perhaps giving them false confidence help would return. A decision to walk for assistance. 19 miles through freezing wilderness and sneakers in February. Exposure, starvation, confusion. It may not require foul play. Sometimes the mountains are enough. The most haunting piece is Gary Mathias. His shoes were found in a trailer, meaning he likely made it there. Did he ever leave after Wire died? Trying to reach civilization? Meadow Valley was over 20 miles away. Weak, malnourished, and alone. Did he collapse somewhere deep in the forest, his remains scattered by wildlife before searchers ever arrived? Or did something else happen? Without Gary, the story feels unfinished, a final page torn from the book. The case of a Yuba County 5 doesn't rest easily. 5 friends set out for basketball and laughter. Within hours, they were walking into freezing darkness. The car, the untouched food, the long impossible trek, the vanished men. Some mysteries are complex because they involve evil. Others are devastating because they may have been simple. A wrong turn or a bad decision, a mountain doesn't forgive, and 5 lives that never came home. So what do you think happened that night? Was it a tragic accident or something more sinister? Let me know your theory in the comments below, and if you found this story compelling, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more deep dive into the world's most unsettling mysteries. Until next time, stay curious.